So welcome back everyone to another episode of Chat with Dan here. Joining me today, what can I say? I'm already having the perfect Tuesday already because I have on the show the incredible, the amazing, the badass, the superstar, the legendary, the one and only, the incredible Cassidy. How are you today?
Hello, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. What better way to have an incredible, super badass day than to be chatting with someone as badass as you know what I mean?
I know the feeling. I feel the same way.
Fantastic. Now, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow. It helps a lot, but also the description below. You cannot find all of Cassie on social media. Let's follow her. Let's share some love. Let's find out why she's super badass. And without further ado, let's jump in. So, I want to start this whole conversation by throwing out the very first question, which is, when you strip away roles, credits, and expectations, tell me who you are at your core.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I'm somebody who has always loved just being creative my whole life. I mean, I started in the acting industry when I was very young. I think I was about 7 years old. And I knew I wanted to do something that involved me being able to have as much fun as possible while still getting to fulfill myself creatively. And I think I knew that from a young age. So I think behind all of that, it's just somebody who wants to, make the most out of everything, right? Every situation and have as much fun as possible doing what I love.
There you go.
Yeah.
And early in your acting journey, tell me, what did you believe your worth was tied to?
Early in my acting journey, well, I'll give you kind of two options here because when I was very young and I first started, I didn't really think of it as anything other than a really fun hobby that I was lucky to do. So it was an outlet for me and it was something that I was very, very grateful to do, but it was also something that I didn't know was so fragile. So then growing up, when I got into my teen years, it kind of flipped itself on its head. And I had aged out of all the roles that I was getting as a kid, and I kind of had to start from the ground up again. And that was a big kind of wake up call for me where I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is fleeting." I didn't realize that when I was a kid. And so starting all over again as somebody in my late teens and early 20s, I think I had a little bit of a battle with my self-worth because I kind of questioned why did it come so easy to me when I was this young kid, but then now it feels like such a slippery slope and something that almost felt unattainable for a while. So yeah, I guess that would be my answer.
Mm. Was it scary, when you were starting out to make it as a pro career?
Absolutely, absolutely, because I thought it was something that when again, when I was a teenager that I could just slip back into like nothing had changed. And I realized quickly that that was not the case. And so I ended up deciding I wanted to make a career out of it, going to school for acting, and then just climbing that ladder again as if I had no experience from, whatever happened before I was about 12 years old. So yeah, it was absolutely scary. I didn't know if I could make it. And I also had that thing in my mind being like, did I peak at 10? Like at 8 are my best days behind me? If so, that's really sad. Luckily, that wasn't the case. But yeah, for a while there, I definitely felt scared.
How was the whole process to it when you decided to make it as a career? Like, how did your family, friends took it? I mean, it's interesting that even till this day, we still live with this idea that if you want to become an artist, you will receive a lot of comments like you're going to starve, you're going to be homeless, you should actually search for a job, that could be a hobby, things like that. So how was that transition for you to not let yourself being affected by and
Yeah.
continue moving forward?
Well, my mom always believed in me from a young age. She was my biggest cheerleader. She wasn't like a stage mom or anything. She just knew that I loved it and wanted to help me succeed. And then when I got older and I decided, this is not just something I'm doing, this is actually my career. Of course, yeah, she was scared. She had the comments of like, okay, well, you finished school now. Why haven't I seen you on Netflix yet? What's going on? Are you auditioning? How come you're not booking your auditions? Everybody in the acting industry, I think, knows that feeling because people that aren't in the industry, they see it the same way as traditional university. You go to school, you graduate, you get a job. And I think it's hard for people that don't understand what it's like to realize that it's not linear like that with acting. There's going to be high highs and wins, and then there's going to be dry spells and lows. And yeah, so grappling with that as an adult, I think it it was a little bit tricky because, you have you as yourself as the actor are already thinking those thoughts. So when people that are outside of the industry are putting pressure on you and asking those things, it's like, "Oh my god, like, I have this in my head already, don't kick me while I'm down," right? But I think that's everybody. So I think the way I kind of get through that is just celebrating the wins. When I have them, I can be like, look, see, I'm doing this and it's not for nothing. I've booked this role and I'm climbing this ladder slowly but surely. And it's not something that anybody needs to worry about. And I think kind of that's the way I look at it these days.
Pretty epic. All right.
Yeah.
Now, how did financial uncertainty shape your mindset during the early years of acting?
During the early years of acting, I was lucky enough to have a steady flow of income with acting jobs. And now, currently, I'm lucky enough to have my second job, which is I teach full time at an acting school. And I also co run a part time acting school where I teach scene study and audition and camera techniques. So I think that I find myself really blessed that even when I'm not on set, I'm still completely engulfed in the acting world in what my career is, whether I'm booking and I'm in front of the camera or I'm behind the camera, it's always on the forefront of my mind. So now I'm really comfortable and confident with the way that I make money and the whole financial aspect of this industry and this world. But starting out, yeah, I mean, there was always those moments where it's like, if I booked this thing, who knows if I'm ever going to book again? I need to save this money and put it away and do something with it because it is so unstable. But I found myself in a really lucky position these days.
Mhm. Was there
Mhm.
a moment when things looked successful from the outside, but felt heavy on the inside?
My God, always, literally, always. And people that I know are gonna roll their eyes when they hear me say this, but there's a quote from Friends that I always say to myself, which is like, Joey says, "I'm an actor. As a group, we tend to be overdramatic." And that is so true for me. I feel like there's constantly something weighing on me, whether it's big or small. Sorry. My cat's gonna make a cameo because she's trying to attack my plants. So yeah, no, I'm over dramatic and I feel like I'm always like some type of big emotion is weighing on me. And there's times when I've either been, having to go and teach a class or having to go on set and something suffocating might be happening in my personal life and I just have to grin and bear it and then, put it in the back of my mind. And me being somebody who is a drama queen, I feel like that happens more often than not. So I think I've had to find a way to push through it when you physically cannot let something heavy be on your mind because your mind has to be on whatever it is I'm doing in front of or behind the camera. So yeah, that's something that I'm still currently trying to figure out how to manage. But to answer your question, yeah, it happens all the time. And sometimes if I'm feeling and I'm doing a scene where I also need to feel down, it's like, yes, amazing, I can use it. And there's other times where I'm not so lucky. So
Totally.
yeah.
Totally. All right. Now, switching to our halftime show, quick speed round questions. Yes, no, or pass. Super simple. Gonna ask you a couple of questions in which you can only answer yes, no, or pass. You ready? Have you ever waited weeks for an answer that took seconds to say no?
Yes, absolutely.
Have you memorized scenes that never made it past the audition room?
100%.
Have you ever been told you were perfect, but still not right?
No.
Have you learned to live with uncertainty better than most people you know?
Yes.
Have you celebrated a win that looked very small to everyone else?
Yes, absolutely.
Have you questioned your entire path while still loving the craft?
No.
Have you learned to separate rejection from self worth?
Yes.
Do you think actors develop patience faster than most people?
No.
Has acting taught you more about yourself than success did?
Yes. Absolutely.
Do you believe this journey has made you stronger in quiet ways?
Yeah.
And a bonus one, can you cry on cue?
Yes, but it's not because of any trick. It's just because I'm very emotional, as I just said.
All right, all right. Now, what inner battle do you still face today that people might not see?
I would say probably imposter syndrome a lot. I'm sure you hear that answer a lot because I think actors, a lot of us tend to feel like we are kind of misfits, I guess, is maybe not the right word to say, but I think a lot of us feel like we don't know what our place is. So with me, sometimes, I get on a set or I book a role or even I'm teaching a class. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe they wanted me for this. Like, why did they give me this role? Like, I don't understand why I deserve it. Or like I'm teaching a class, I'm like, why are these people listening to me? Like half the people in here are like doctors and finance bros and whatever. And I'm like, why do they care what I have to say? Right. Um, so I think that's something that I am still learning how to manage is the feeling of knowing that what I'm doing is it's liked and it's enough for a reason, right? It's not a fluke and I am doing what I'm doing because I'm meant to do it, I guess. So I think imposter syndrome, that's a big one for me.
Fair enough. As your definition of success has evolved, what matters more now than just booking the role?
Understanding the character. I think this is something I've learned from the past few years doing theater and as well as on camera acting is in auditions sometimes they can be really kind of I'll use this word again but like fleeting whatever character you're playing you get in there you do what you need to do you have so much other things or so many other things on your mind about where the camera is how to play for the camera how to give a good not only performance but also a good performance that's going to translate on screen. Whereas with theater, it's such a deep dive into the person that you're playing and the role and their significance and the message. And I did like it sounds a bit like a soapbox, but I really love when I have the chance to really dig into characters and build them as people and not just like a moving prop in a TV show, Not saying that all TV shows are like that, but in Vancouver, a lot of the roles that are out there are very simple sometimes. So I love the chance to get to dive into a character. That's the my favorite part. That's the most fun for me.
If acting disappeared tomorrow, what part of you would still remain?
Ooh, I think, well, my overdramaticness. No, I'm just kidding. I would say probably my love for creativity in some sense. I think if I wasn't an actor, I would probably look into being a writer or something that is still in the artistic sphere. I think my creativity wouldn't go anywhere because I do have that hunger for human connection and human storytelling. And I think if I wasn't able to act anymore, I still would seek that out in different creative valves.
Now, years from now, what truth about your acting journey do you hope people truly understand?
About my acting journey, I think I hope they understand how much I genuinely love what I do and how much of myself goes into it. I really, really, really put my whole heart and soul into what I do. And so it doesn't always look like it, but I really, really care about it. And I care about the integrity of the acting industry and art and everything kind of under that umbrella. And it sounds a little bit pretentious, but I hope people realize how much I love it. Like I deeply, deeply love what I do.
I start to discover why you're bad at. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm getting it now. For sure, I'm getting it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And in general, like what motivates you, right? We all have those days in which we want to quit. It's
Mhm.
inevitable.
Oh,
Happens to all of us. So how you stay positive in one of those days?
well, I tell myself this all the time. There are going to be days, sometimes weeks, months where you feel like you lose the love for it as an actor and you feel like you don't understand why you're doing it anymore and it's just like it feels like a road that leads to nowhere. But what I've realized is that that feeling, it goes away and the love always, always, always comes back, always. And with this industry, I also tell myself and I remind myself that acting is professional auditioning, right? Anything else, any booking, anything you get from it is just a bonus. If you are auditioning and you're constantly staying active and staying in it, then you're doing your job correctly, right? So I tell myself that it's such an ebb and flow of love and exhaustion and disappointment and wanting to throw in the towel and excitement. And it's the feeling you don't get from anything else. So I try as hard as I can to hold on to that feeling and remember that even if it seems like everything's against me, that feeling will come back. And my goal is around the corner. I just have to keep pushing for it. And every time I've reminded myself that, it's proved to be true. So I think that's how,
Yeah, I like it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and my last question here, so we can all enjoy and relax after an epic chat here. Tell me, what do you think that could be the best title for this episode?
Maybe something to do with like, see, there goes the cat again. Maybe something to do with like dealing with imposter syndrome and keeping your self worth in the industry. I think that's something everybody can relate to. I think maybe like loving the journey, something like that.
Loving the journey. Sure, I can. Yeah, that could be one for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
loving the
something
journey.
like that. Yeah.
Sounds good to me. Epic. And you know what? At the end, what can I say? The fact you're doing this, it's super badass. It's epic. We all know that, sure, doing something outside the typical 9 to 5, it's amazing, yes, but it tends to be a pain in the butt sometimes, right? You're building something from scratch, right? But you make it happen. You are showing out there that things are possible. And I think that's the most important part because you're showing that there is hope out there, right? That there is positivity out there. If you are honest to yourself, you put the hours to it, and that's super powerful. And I think that's incredibly important right now, especially now in this crazy day and era we're currently living in. The fact that we can rely on you, that's amazing. So, yeah,
Yeah, thank you for saying that.
absolutely. I do want to thank also those who stayed the whole episode. Let us know what you think in the comments below. But by this point, come on, the way we have to do it, say it, right? I mean, we already discovered why Cassidy is super badass. I already found out since question 1 for sure. But make sure where you are following her. In the description below, you're gonna find all of her social media. Let's share some love. # Team Cassidy. And again, thank you for making this happen. Keep shining out there. Keep rocking. Keep kicking ass. Have an incredible rest of the week. And I'll be seeing you in the next one.